Okay, guys, just some housekeeping items just quickly. People will start to come in. We've got James, Alex, Jake, and Riker. Jake, by the way, welcome, man. Welcome.
Appreciate
welcome.
it.
Welcome to the roundtable. Listen, guys, the whole goal with this is to really just to be able to be here together and to give a feeling of like so that we know we're not sitting here alone on this journey, to know that there's other people that are with you on this journey, where you don't have to, be shy and not ask a question. The worst question is the one unasked, I usually say, and definitely we miss shots that we just never bother taking. So my strong suggestion would be to, if you do have questions, ask away. I don't know everything about the industry, but I know people who do. And I can always find out answers if I can't come up with an intelligent answer that's backed by experience. I'm not going to say it. So I'm excited to jam. Just a quick summary, because we're a small group tonight. More should come in here shortly. But just a quick roundtable to do a quick intro. Let's just do like an elevator kind of summary of who we are and what we're going after, and what we're considering. James, let's start with you, since you're right up at the top next to me.
Yes, sir. I just want to, trying to start my own business. Like I said, I want to, I'm still fresh. I just want to know, the ins and outs of the asphalt business. I just want to, become more, I just want to learn more about it, get my hands dirty, do what I got to do to make ends meet to provide for my family.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for joining there. Hopefully we can create a bit of a clear path for you and prevent you from having to go through that big steep learning curve that most people go through if they're just alone. So yeah, congratulations on making the first step and actually being here. That's awesome.
Yes,
Jake.
sir.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm Jake Nielsen. I live in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm actually just looking to get started here in the next couple of months. And I'm doing it because the typical 9-to-5 I think is outdated, and I want to grow my own future and not be beholden to somebody else, and be my own boss, create my own future, and be there for my family so that we can have the future that I didn't have growing up. So that's really what I'm doing here.
Congrats, man. Riker, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going? My name's Riker Cole. I'm from Moosomin, Saskatchewan, and in Canada, and I'm a second-year entrepreneur in the asphalt maintenance business, and I'm just looking forward to learning from this process and connecting with you guys.
Congratulations, man. It's good to visually meet you in a live appearance. I know we've jammed a little bit on Facebook Messenger and stuff.
And I'm repping some of my gear as well.
Awesome. Action Asphalt, right?
Yes, sir.
Great name. Love it.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, man. And you're taking action. That's rad. That's super cool. That's action driven. I love that, man. It's great.
Right on. Thanks.
Alex Storing, do you want to make an introduction? Do you want to? Can you hear us, Alex? I think you're calling in. There might be a mic issue or something, but that's cool. Yeah, guys, listen. So I would just say, let's just open mic. Let's freestyle. Anything that you have, any questions that you have, I think just roll with me. I can, if you want me to just go ahead and speak about how to generate leads and how to go into kind of sales presentations, and you guys, just fire it up, man. I know that most of us, as we're going through this journey, I certainly have questions ongoing. And so, that's, again, any question that's unasked is kind of the bad question, I would say. So yeah, feel free. I mean, Riker, do you have any specific questions, or is there anything in your second year that you want to share? Is there something?
I have one specific question where I had quite a few clients last summer, towards the end of the summer, basically say that they weren't interested in asphalt maintenance, or they were looking at it for this upcoming spring. What's the best way of, kind of putting that on the forefront of the summer and connecting with those clients that maybe said no or turned you down, or you want to work with them?
Yeah, it's, here's one of the key things that I certainly go through from a presentation perspective. Anytime I'm speaking with, whether it's a homeowner or a big property owner, like right now, we're doing a deal with Taco Bell, national in the United States. And that's a pretty big project. Their test phase, like the rollout's 150 Taco Bells, and they're doing full pavement asset management. So I would say to you, Riker, the way that I would pitch this or propose it is that their pavement is costing them money right now, just sitting there, and regardless of whether they choose to do it or not. It's costing them money. It's an asset that's depreciating. It depreciates at a pace that's rapid if they do no maintenance to it. If they put no protective coating down to protect it from the elements, that asset will depreciate. Generally, they're saying 12 to 15 years without any maintenance is kind of where that asset's going to just be in a condition of disrepair and needing replacement. And we're actually creating an infographic about that right now, and a video to speak to this. But you can imagine if you have to replace the asphalt every 12 to 15 years, what that would look like over a 36 to 40 year cycle. You'd have to replace it like 3 times. Whereas if you do the general maintenance on it, you keep up from the time that it's laid, and you put that protective water barrier from penetrating the foundation and causing puddles and depressions, and making sure that all the cracks are sealed up properly, making sure that the surface is seal coated properly, not overly seal coated, but actually seal coated to the point where the traffic, the asphalt now is going to be protected with the coating to traffic, to the elements, to snow, ice, scraping of plows and blowers, and salt and sand, and all the chemical spills and just general wear. I certainly know from speaking with many clients with pavement assets that with maintenance, like thorough maintenance every 2 to 3 years, all the way through the life of the asphalt till it's kind of in a place where the actual depth of the asphalt has gone too thin to really continue it. You're almost building up so much sealer that you've got this new sealer surface by 36 years. But we do have clients that have seal coated, as kind of a regiment of every 3 years they put it down as a solid 2-coat application, and they'll get 36 years out of that asset. So it's almost 3 times. If you think about it, you would have had to repave 3 times in that period, especially for commercial stuff, like if you get into commercial, versus that. So my short-winded way of answering this would just basically be, hey, listen, it's an asset. You want it to look good. You want to save your money by protecting it. You want it safe. And so, if you're not wanting to do it now, my big question to you would be why? And I asked that straight out. Like, the way that I finish my sales presentations always is I give enough value through the process to say at the very end of it, would there be any reason at all that you wouldn't move forward with this? And if they tell me why, like, I'm trying to find out why. There's a reason why they wouldn't move forward. Maybe they were burned by a previous contractor. Maybe you need to support that with a proper warranty. Maybe they don't know about your Google My Business reviews and your reviews that you have on social and Better Business Bureau or wherever, right? Like, you need to find out the true why people don't go forward. And if they're saying, it's too late, it's fall time, I'm going to wait till the spring. Okay, as a pavement professional, what I'm going to tell you is just to give you this information, and I want to do it just to educate you, regardless of whether or not we're going to do it now, because I'll come back and do it in the spring happily. I just want you to know that the life of your asphalt is literally being impacted by going through another winter. And so, Alex,
Absolutely.
Alex, I'm really interested in. Welcome, brother. Thank you for being here, man.
Yeah, I switched off my phone and got on my computer, so hopefully the audio is working now.
Alex, what's your opinion on that? Because I know you deal with a lot of commercial stuff, and you've been in the business and stuff. So I'm interested.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely, we do mostly apartment complexes and HOAs. So we're dealing with large square footage, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. And I'm out in California. So those figures that you're throwing out, 12 to 15 years for replacement of the asphalt asset, seems like a little bit on the kind of shorter time scale for California. I would say it's more like 20, 25 years out here, but because we just don't have that freeze and thaw cycle that you guys do up in Canada and some of the eastern places. But yeah, I definitely see people like over sealing a lot. Kind of like you said, you get that build up over a few years, and I've turned down clients that I call it like the M&M effect. Like it's like this candy coating on top of their asphalt, and they see all this cracking, but it's that's not really like the right thing for them, right? They just see these like hairline cracks everywhere, and it's the seal coat cracking because they've overdone it. So I think going in and being having kind of an expert opinion and not saying like, hey, just because you want a seal coating bid, I'm going to give you one, even though you had it done 2 years ago and you did it every 2 years, and it's obviously not the right solution for you. I think it's coming up with the right solution for the customers, and then creating that sense of like you're the expert and that you're not going to take advantage of them, and it's very customer service related. Maybe you're going out there and you're fixing some of their potholes or doing some crack sealing, hot crack fill, not necessarily the seal coating, but some of the issues that I've been running into is with dealing with apartment complexes and HOAs is that usually the point of contact is not the owner of the property. And so like, that's what I wanted to ask you about particularly, was like, you're dealing with like a mid-level manager that is asked to go get a bid. And we have some of these bids, like they're sitting out there for 1, 2, 3 years. And this property needs seal coating so bad, and they've got cracks like this big, and they need filling before the rains come. What are some ways to kind of get around that in that market to get to the owners of these properties, or the people that are really making the decisions on how to spend the money and when to spend it?
It's such a good question, and it's a really common question. So I'm going to give you an example. I'm sitting in Nashville right before going into the National Pavement Expo. I'm in a Best Buy parking lot. It's like a 300,000 square foot parking lot, like shopping plaza. And I'm sitting there with Brian Hess, and we're going in to buy a GoPro for the show to grab some content and stuff. And I'm like, this parking lot is just shitty. Like, it's just terrible. The lines are faded. Like the handicaps, symbol was just completely faded out. The head was missing off of it. Like, it was just terrible. And around the drainage, around any of the manholes, there was like, they were protruding out of the surface, so drainage wasn't proper. It was sliding down around the ring, and then and there was like some potholes in the parking lot. It was really gray aggregate exposed and everything, and it was just a mess. And I said to Brian, I said, let's pitch this, like, just for fun, right? Like, we're just on a road trip. Actually, you can go to our YouTube channel and type in NP road trip. I think it was 2019, but that was literally, we were in the truck on the way there. And so I was like, we need to get through to the right person, obviously, to be able to, get the right person who's not necessarily the decision maker, but the person who is going to accept the call to speak about this and then bring it back to the board to be able to make a decision as to whether or not this fits in the budget and so on and so forth. But let's at least give this a whirl. And so first and foremost, imagine sitting in this parking lot in a Toyota Tundra trying to figure out how we're going to get this phone number, right? So we've got our phones in our hand, and, we search the address, and all of a sudden there's a property management company, right, that's responsible for the property. And the property management company, of course, is the same phone number on one of the units. Like, it used to be like maybe like a barber shop or a hairstylist place. Like, there's a for lease sign, like rent sign right in the window, and it was an empty unit, and it's the same phone number. And so call the phone number. It's like, hey, Judd calling from Asphalt Kingdom. I'm sitting here actually on a road trip. We're on the way to the National Pavement Expo, and blah, 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 blah. I said, I'm really looking to speak with the person who would be responsible for the pavement assets here, the parking lot at this address. And they had no problem giving me the information for the person to get through to. And we got through to Jeff, and we're on the phone with Jeff in the parking lot. And he goes, man, we were thinking about this. We just couldn't find anybody right out of the director. We couldn't find somebody to come out and actually even talk about this.
Oh wow.
The bottom line is that with 2022 and the ability to connect with these larger property management companies, because let's face it, it's generally not the HOA that's the one that's finding the people and or instigating this. It's generally the property management company that's responsible for the property that brings it to the HOA's attention, where budgets are allocated to be able to do this kind of stuff. We got through, and as soon as we wrapped the call with this guy, Jeff, he was the guy that's the one who is I'm going to collect all the information and I'm going to go to the meeting and I'm going to present what it is that I've gone out to find. Do you think that Jeff really wants to go and have to do a lot of work to go back to the next meeting to be able to present this? He doesn't want to do any work. He wants us to do it all. So what are we going to do? We're going to be the lighthouse. We're going to silver platter all this shit for him, because that's giving him everything he needs to do it. And we're the guys that know how to do it. So what we do is we walk around taking photos and we start doing a pavement assessment right around the parking lot. And we take videos of the drainage and cars driving through, the parking lot. And, there's ADA shit that's going on in the parking lot. And you get the collateral and then you plug it into a really nice presentable proposal that shows them the importance of maintenance, the PACER ratings, and you go through the process of developing a proposal. Just as a side note, any kind of large scale or large scope projects like that, I do a lot of hotels down in the Caribbean and stuff. These kind of 220,000, 300,000 square foot type stuff, once you get into them, I don't recommend whatsoever actually creating a proposal from a template. I customize the actual proposal. I'll take raw framework and roots of it, but I'll customize it according to the persona that I'm dealing with. If it's an introverted person, if it's an extroverted person, whether they're actually the decision maker or they're somebody that's looking to have it silver plattered to go back to the board to make these decisions, I actually customize those proposals to be an architecturally persuasive conversion document. It's my opportunity to be able to get through. So, I'm answering your question in a long-winded way, I think, but the way that I'm certainly going forward with it is I use every means. I'll go to the door. I'll go talk to somebody who is inside the Best Buy, who's a manager, and ask them who the property management company is. Just go through to the depth of finding out who is that person that makes kind of the decisions about that asphalt. And a lot of time people don't know, but they know who's responsible for the landscaping or building maintenance, right?
Yeah, we do. We work with all the property management companies. We don't deal with, like in the HOAs, we don't deal with board members very often. It's all the management company, but there's typically an ownership company, like a LLC of like 3 dudes, and they own 10 apartment complexes or something, right? And they're the guys that they're going to this ownership group, and those are the guys that are making the decisions, but we never get to talk to those people about, hey, here's what's wrong with your asphalt, here's why it needs maintenance, and pitching sort of the aspect of extending the life of your asphalt, what's the replacement cost, and avoiding that, and when's the right time and what's the right thing to do. We just don't get to that level very often. But the management companies and like the regional managers that might have 5 or 6 properties, not the person sitting in the office like on site, like the person above that, but I want to get to the owners. Like,
what happens on LinkedIn though? Are you trying to connect with the owners on LinkedIn? Are you able to find the holding company, the information for the holding company? Like we did one, it was an apartment community, 9 locations. There's about 600,000 square feet of pavement assets. I was able to find the owner. His name was Spiro Tversky. I can't pronounce his last name well, but I found him through the holding company, the actual company that owned it. And you're exactly right. It was 2 guys that owned it. 2 wealthy guys out of California, actually, who owned it in Texas. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There's what's that? We played around with it for a little bit, and I was going to get a membership, but it's super expensive. It's like $1,200 a month, and they want you to pay for a whole year. But it's it has like all of the listing. Huh?
.ai. Yeah. What's the name of it? The it's a lead scraper. That.
Let me see if I can pull it up in my.
Yeah, I'll find it. I mean, there's a bunch, but yeah, you can actually type it in and it'll pull up a bunch of these holding companies and or any kind of leads for that matter, storage facilities, anything.
I think this is a national thing. Let's see.
But yeah,
I mean, all the commercial listings like that have triple nets and all that stuff. Anyway, I'll see if I can figure it out when I'm not talking. I'll look through my email here and see if anyone's had any success with that, because it's like pretty expensive, but it'll tell you who owns every single property, and then they have like aerial views of each property, and you can click through them, and then you can see like this asphalt's gray. It needs to be seal coated, right? So I'll see if I can find that and share that with the group and see if anyone's had any success with it.
Yeah, man, that would be sick, Alex. If you could share that with everybody, I'm sure that would be helpful. Who here, like, is anybody like, Riker, are you getting into commercial scoped work this year?
Yeah, I got into quite a bit of commercial to the end of the summer last year with a couple of car dealerships and some grocery stores and whatnot. And what I found, and a few hotels actually, but what I found was the hotel managers kept shutting me down. And until I live in a rural center, so until the owner of the hotel or the head honcho came rolling in and left the city, when he would come out, he would look at his a pavement asset and go like, well, I actually need to do something on this, or I need to, look after my asset. And what I found was the managers have it in their brains that they need to, keep the budget low, cut costs, that kind of thing, look after the hotel. But the actual people that are, paying the paychecks care about their asset and valuing that. So once I could make that connection, I found I really started gaining, traction in the right direction. And I found one of the top things was the car dealerships. The two that I contacted, the one guy had just laid, I think it was like a 40,000 square foot asphalt pad 3 to 5 years ago. But the company that laid it down laid it about 4 inch in the middle. And then once you worked your way out to the outside, it started to get really, really thin. So he actually really cares about his asphalt because it's such a large area. And that was, that was a key to me getting that bid and getting that job. So it's just finding those niches and clicking with the right person.
Yeah, there's an interesting thing. These three words work extremely well in our industry, and it's pavement asset management. That pavement asset management, those three words are like power words when you're pitching and presenting, because the reality of it is you don't want to just go out and do maintenance on a parking lot once. You want to build it as a lifelong account. And so a lot of the time, if you're being a lighthouse to those people, thank you, Alex. When you're being a lighthouse to people and you're saying, hey, listen, would you be interested in a 10-year budget plan as to what you're going to need to allocate for your asphalt assets going forward? Like, here's the actual budget that I'm going to lay out for you that you're going to need to allocate over the next 10 years. Over these next 4 cycles of maintenance, you'll now know, so it can be built into your budget. Do you think that that's lighthouse? For sure it is. And it works really, really well. The other thing too is if you can secure, and we do it, if you can secure a 10-year period where they're saying they're not paying you the money, it's not a contractual, but they're actually saying, yeah, this sounds great, man. I don't even want to think about this. Like for 150 Taco Bells, we just got that completely secured. Not with capital, but secured, documented. Yes, we want to move forward. They do it with air conditioning already. So, I mean, they don't want to think about this shit. They don't want to have a pothole arise and then they have to go back up to Taco John, who's the top guy in South Carolina who owns the 150 Taco Bells. He's flying around on a jet, building other Taco Bells. You know what I mean? He doesn't want to have to think about a pothole. He wants a pavement asset management company that's been a lighthouse for him, that's laid out what the 10-year budget looks like, and all he has to do is cut a check. And guess what? The guy's like, you know what? I just want to keep my parking lot looking good and safe every single year. I'll just pay you guys a fee just to maintain the asset. That's what we're going to do ongoing. Pay the fee. Takes it off the plate. And so that 10-year thing is an interesting one, because the value of your business, the multiplier of your business, we don't think about a lot in our business. The multiplier comes from, yes, the number of customers that you have in a database. Yes, there's value associated with that. There's value with your assets and so on. But imagine that you were able to say, I've got $4 million worth of business that's ahead of us already in the books that is secured with this, and this. That's people. This is lighthouse stuff. This is valuable. And this happens also. Adam Chapman. I don't know if some of you guys may have seen Adam Chapman on our channel recently. Pad Pal. He's such a cool dude. He actually left today. And he's doing this with Christmas lights. He's securing people like into his 3-year contract, where he's literally going to install Christmas lights and then remove them. And he owns the lights. He just leases the lights, and he's doing 3-year contracts. Of course, there's a discount attached to it, but 3 years worth. He did $110,000 in revenue in 40 days doing install of Christmas lights. It's wild business.
What a top-notch business model. I'm going to school out in Ottawa right now, and that's where Adam's from. And so, he showed me the light game, and he's killing it out here. He is killing it. And we just finished a course together, actually, Christmas light course. So that's launching soon, but it's unbelievable to see what's going on. But my point with this, just kind of to punch this in, build accounts, build lifelong accounts, and be that pavement asset management company, not just a company that repairs potholes and seal coats. You know what I mean?
So like, are you, would this be like a subscription, and whether you do work on the property or not in a single year, they still pay you like a certain fixed? Wow.
It's like insurance.
Yeah, right. Okay. So if anything goes wrong, you go out and you check out the Taco Bell or whatever it is. And
every 3 months, there's a drive through the property. And if lines need to get striped because, something's happened where there's a spill or something, a dumpster was put down and marked up the lot, or there's grease that has come out in the dumpster or whatever, that parking lot. Blah, blah. Yeah. Completely. It's basically pavement asset management. Taco John no longer thinks about his 150 locations. And now he's going to go pitch all of Taco Bell's across the United States. There's 4,900 of them tied to KFC. And then that's just the beginning of the rollout. This model, guys, of pavement asset management, we all know that parking lots are a pain in the ass, but they're very important to businesses. It's the red carpet to their business, right? It's the first thing people step on. It's the first thing that people think about when they pull up. I mean, think about a Taco Bell that has a really shitty parking lot that's gray and there's some potholes and cracks over it, versus this photo of street view to the property, and all the colors are nice and out, a nice matte black surface, crisp yellow lines, like, you know what I mean? It's just, that's white lines. But that's
so how does the economics behind that work? Because I mean, like, you could say you send somebody out, I mean, 150 units, that's a pretty big geography. So you got a full-time person driving around, checking them out. And then that's a person on your payroll plus a vehicle and gas. And then you got to send like a truck out, like a hot mix truck for one pothole. How does the economics behind that work?
In the digital era that we live in, it's amazing how we can be all over the world, and we can be in a place just like this right now, making relationships. It's the economics works through partnerships, through strategic partnerships that allow you to really have a footprint, and you do it through trusted sources. So we would do it, as an example, Alex, in your state. If we landed a contract, you would expect a call from me as being one of those guys that I would hope to be able to work with to make this happen. I don't want to own the trucks. I don't want to own the equipment. I don't want to own the supplies. I want to be a power broker and bringing people to the table. We should all be power brokers, bringing people to the table all over, because asphalt in the States, asphalt in Canada is precisely every freaking where, and it needs to be maintained. And the more knowledge that we have, and the more marketing material, and the more we tune ourselves to present this as an industry that's very different from what it has been presented, as for many, many decades. It's going to change rapidly. And through partnerships, that will happen. There's just no doubt. It's already happening. It's unfolding.
So a lot of subs and partnerships if you're hitting a big geography. I mean, obviously, I live in the Sacramento market, but and we travel down to Fresno, which is 3 hours away, and out to Santa Rosa, 2.5 hours. But I'm not going to go to Fresno to go look at a parking lot just to take a PC.
But you may have one of your guys up in a car and take a look and do a quick scan on that, or we might send somebody for $75 to go do photos of the parking lot without even needing to physically be there. But we could send
there are companies that do that, right? That go and they just, Do you know what the name of that is?
Yeah, I'll send it over to you. There's a bunch of them. There's 3 different ones. Like you can actually hire their videographers. You can do, there's drone, there's on site. So they do on-site assessment, and they'll do video, photos, and drone full assessments. There's 3 different companies.
They send me emails and I'm like, why would I ever do that? I just go in first. So that makes more sense when you have that kind of model. I did post this is the Sacramento market, but LoopNet was what I was trying to think of earlier. Have you heard of LoopNet? Okay, so they have the ownership information of every single commercial property, commercial and apartment complexes. So if you're looking for like renting a warehouse, they dominate the market in the US. It's kind of like the holding tank for all real estate and commercial properties. But if you they have salespeople, and if you go through the back end, they'll give you access to all their database. So I was trying to look at integrating some of this stuff with my software we were talking about the other week, and having a lead generation process that would go and look for all these management companies, and then tie the owners in and just go directly to the owners instead of the management companies, and get around them that way. But it was kind of expensive. Like I said, it was like $1,000 a month, and they wanted like $12,000 or $14,000 up front for a year. I just didn't want to drop that kind of cash without knowing if it was worth it,
I personally have not used it.
Okay.
Not. And you have not tried it at all?
I haven't tried it, no, but I was trying to put a process into place like 2 years ago before the whole COVID craziness stuff. So I'm looking at getting into it this year. Yeah. Spending some marketing dollars on that.
Cool. For my team, I know I have, okay, perfect. Jan, do me a favor. Let's share the on-site photo visits and video visits. We'll send it out in an email to everybody, and let's also let's send Alex's link as well as a follow-up. I think that's important. That's great notes. Question, guys. I'm going to be I got to roll out of here pretty soon. I mean, it's amazing what we can just kind of hash out in 30 minutes. I don't know if anybody's found some value out of this call in 30 minutes. I certainly have. And I've got a link there to explore, Alex, which is exciting, that you just shared. Any questions? Anybody before we jam?
Hey, Judd.
Yes, James. Oh, is that Rob?
Yeah. Hey, how's it going? I just tapped in here. Sorry, I was out putting together a snowblower and just getting ready to eat. What were we talking about? I just kind of caught the tail end of that.
I'll fill you in, Rob. But yeah, but a bunch of different stuff. We've got a bunch of cool information, and getting to meet some people. This roundtable, I'm going to try to figure out how to do this properly, because once there's like 30, 40, 50 people, it's going to be pretty challenging to do it unless we have serious moderation going on, like for hand raising and like that kind of stuff. And then actually asking in the chat to communicate with somebody, and then communicating in the chat's pretty cool, guys, too. I don't know if you know about this, but like you can send a message to somebody privately in here as well. So if you go to your chat window, you can literally send it to everybody, or you can go into just sending a specific person a question or whatever it is, and then, you know, create. Hopefully, you guys get to create some relationships that help. I know that Alex has a software that's certainly interesting that he's developing, and he uses it for his business to really help with his business. So if you have interest in chatting with him about that too, and you know, there's all kinds of good knowledge and things out there to explore and gain perspective. And not everybody clicks with everybody, if you know what I mean. So if you click with somebody, that's awesome, man, and that's something powerful. And if you don't, you don't. Rob McKenzie, I know you're up in the snowy North Canada. You're not far from Riker, not all that far from Riker. But Rob McKenzie's a teacher. We're trying to get him to retire here like fast and just come to Asphalt full time, you know. James, you were going to say something?
Yes, sir. I wanted to know, like, in the asphalt maintenance business, what's the best way to, like, get more customers? Like, what, like, you know, it'll be my first time going out, you know, trying to get customers, or get accounts. What would be the best thing for me to do?
Contact the people that you know first.
Yes, sir.
And then second, contact the people that your people know.
Okay.
And then after you've contacted all of those people, and when I say like those people, like exhaust the hell out of it, man. My contact list on my phone, let me just tell you, I don't know how many you have on your phone, but I've got too many on my phone. Like I've got too many on my phone. I've got contacts from the last phones that's come on to the phone. And you know what I mean? You meet so many people in this lifetime, and these people know a lot of people. So if I have all these contacts, think about one person, how many contacts they might have.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I know a person who is building a business right now just off of his contact list in his phone. And he's poised to $150,000 in 2022 with his goals and trajectory. I mean, that's huge, right? Like, so I would say, yeah, exhaust the people that you know, people that your people know. And then, man, like you could be running some Facebook ads. You're in the Bahamas, right, James?
Yes, sir. But I'm moving to Indianapolis, and
okay.
by September.
Got it. Yeah, man. Facebook ads too, like geo-targeting Facebook ads with certain demographics that are really clean. Like if you're, you know, somebody's interest might be landscaping or home maintenance or like gardening or these kind of things. People who like that kind of stuff are generally interested in keeping their property looking good.
Yes.
And then I'll tell you straight up too, like if you're running those ads and you're exhausting the people that your people know and that kind of stuff, I've got some running shoes back there, and there's miles of running, like miles of walking on those shoes, man.
Go door to door.
And you do that without you do it if you need a solicitation permit, if you need licensing, you make sure that you have all of that really, really well done. In the commercial area, man, the internet is so freaking powerful. Like we know that. I mean, I could literally type up. I could type up. You're moving to where? Indianapolis?
Yes, sir.
Indianapolis Property Management Company. All right, cool. So now I'm looking at property management companies in Indianapolis that are property management, Harvey Property Management Group, India Property Management Group. There's hundreds of them, right? And so, man, I say what you do is you maybe consider, you know, if you really want to grow, and this won't be in year one, but I'm going to pitch this out. I'm going to say, go to Upwork or Fiverr and find a data scraper that's going to be able to build a list of every property management company on tab number 1 in that Excel Google sheet, then get them to do storage facilities, then get them to do churches, then get them to scrape the people who actually are the ones that you hopefully will be the one, you know, talking, whether it's owner, whether whether it's the manager. Bottom line is, if I sit here today, right now, and I've got my Google sheet and I've got, we work with call tracking metrics, man, I can upload that list and I can immediately start speed dialing these people. And I can literally just be, hey, Judd calling from Asphalt Kingdom. And you go in with value proposition, practice that role playing with somebody who knows what they're doing and spend the time doing that. Don't just talk about it, but actually do it. And next thing you know, you're landing commercial jobs as well as you scale. But that's down the road, James. You'll get there. But yes, man, yeah, listen, if you're professional and you go and you present well and you solve problems, you give the value and you're branded well and everything, you're going to be successful. This industry is, it's not going away. That's one of the coolest things ever, man. I look at Riker's sweatshirt right there with his company on it, and I see that road right there. It's badass, man. You know how long roads have been around? I mean,
long.
Shit. Henry Ford did some pretty cool stuff back in the day, with creating the car and man, think about what's going on right now in Canada. Holy cow, they're using the roads pretty actively against some stuff, but I hear Ottawa's in some pretty wild shape right now with the protests. But
yes,
yeah, we've been in shambles here for a few days, that's for sure.
You guys are about to make some money because of that, right? Those roads are getting overused right now. So
guys, your marketing messages right now, like, let me tell you, like, based upon things that are going on, inflation, freight, all the different stuff, I'm telling you guys straight out that Craftco, Naira, Gem Seal, Sealmaster, our main manufacturing company that we've secured in Canada, Rhino Works, all the different companies, I'm getting price increases right now. Like last week, I got a price increase, 12% cost increase on just sealer on raw, 12%. That's freaking huge. I've never seen that before. It doesn't mean that we're going to make less money. It means that our messaging needs to be clear and our proposals need to be time sensitive. They need to have expiry dates. And it means that you need to be pushing this through. Let me tell you, the repaving, like the paving jobs, they're going to be a hell of a lot more expensive than what it is to do the maintenance, right? So it's not like, oh no, I can't do it. These prices are getting higher to maintain it. Now it's happening everywhere. Go buy a head of broccoli at the grocery store. It's happening everywhere, right? And so our messaging right now, from a marketing perspective, if you're sending any newsletters, if you're sending any automation, if you're posting to your social media, do it in a way that's not threatening, but do it in a way that's informative, because you have to be honest with your customers. You have to tell them what is coming. And I'm telling you guys, it's coming 100%. Pricing in our industry right now, especially NPE and everything coming up. This is right after this, we're going to see price increases start to roll out in roughly about the first week of March. We have about a month before we see significant price increases. So make sure you raise your prices too. Make sure you raise them. And the ones that don't raise them are the ones that are generally going to go out of business. Yeah, no margin. Important. We're going to get this video and the infographic for the cycle of no maintenance and paving in a 36 to 40 year window, and then having the graph show what it is when it's maintained. There'll be some images in there and stuff. We're going to work through getting that video done as well. And then we'll send that out to, we're going to be sending that out to our customers and stuff to be able to use for your marketing collateral. So you'll be able to actually use that as leverage as you're presenting and converting deals. Guys, I got a jam. My wife is my wife's downstairs going, come watch a movie. But it's been awesome here with you guys, man. And yeah, please connect with each other and let's keep winning. I'm going to be doing this every Wednesday, carving some time out to do this. So if you're here, awesome. We look forward to having you back. And the more experience, the more that we're here, the more we're able to help this industry grow and thrive. And that's the goal, is to make it better. And coming together does make it better. Anybody going to the National Pavement Expo this year? Alex, are you going? Or Rod?
Sorry, I got a 3-year-old losing her mind in my office, so I'm not going this year. No.
Yeah, no. I'm not going either. I'm going to go next year for sure. So, That's a scoop. Rod Hilton, are you going over? Going to NP, Rod? Rod, you're muted. Rod's got his hand up, but I think that we might have lost him. Guys, I'm checking out.
I have a question for you guys that are in here. Do you guys know anyone that's in the asphalt maintenance game in Las Vegas at all? I'm heading down there for the weekend. I'd like to connect with a couple of professionals. If anyone knows anybody, feel free to throw it in the chat or even reach out to me no matter what. So
Riker, bust me a message on Facebook with dates and stuff when you're going down there, and I'll connect you with some people.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot.
Pleasure, brother. No problem. Cool beans. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the roundtable here tonight and for sharing. And yeah, man, looking forward to next Wednesday. Have a great time, guys.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Cheers.